Hi guys, I'm Johan Kikilis coming to you from the bottom of Africa, and welcome to what is the fifth vlog in my series that I'm doing here. I want to encourage you please to go and check out the previous talks just to get some context of what we're talking about. Now, we are trying to address the issue of transforming society, and in my previous talks I spoke a bit about how the root of anger is often hurt, and hurt comes from, obviously, when people have wronged us. And this anger that we are seeing at the moment around the world has been going on for a very long time. And it's starting to manifest itself in violence and riots pretty much on a daily basis. If you look at countries like America, for instance, it's been ongoing for some time. Now, I've worked for almost 20 years with people who are angry, people who are hurt, and I'm convinced that there is an answer. And the answer is healing the hurt. So the question is obviously, how do we heal the hurt that is inside of us? I want to share a personal story, if I may. I grew up in the apartheid years of South Africa. Now, it was dark time, and there was absolutely nothing good. There were no rights in those days. And when I was 17 years old, I finished school and I had to go to the military or the army. It was either that or prison. So I went, and it was the worst time of my life. And one of the challenges I faced is that because of the language that I speak and my culture, a very large group of people that were in the military with me just simply did not like me, just for that. And so I was treated abysmally, really. And when I left the army, I was very angry. I became very bitter. And if I'm honest, I hated pretty much everybody. And this probably went on for 7 or 8 years. And I was a Christian at the time as well. And then in 2002, I went on my first mission trip. And we went to a place called Avambaland. Now, Avambaland is right on the border of Angola and Namibia. And I had the privilege of staying with the chief, Tata Johannes, and I stayed in his homestead, or we called him Kraals. And one night we were chatting around a fire. Now, Avambaland was also the setting of where South Africa fought what we call the South African Border War for about 20 years. And Tata Johannes was telling me about how our army, in fact, the battalion that I was part of it, decimated his place, destroyed the area. He spoke about how his family and his friends were damaged or killed. Even his church was bombed. And the more I listened to the story, the more and more angry I got. And I thought, no, man, I said to him, you must really hate those people for what they've done. And he looked at me and he said, no, Johan, I don't. I forgave them a long time ago. And here was a man who had endured far more suffering than I ever had. And he forgave. Amazingly, I went there 4 or 5 years, and this chief was always at peace with the world. Eventually, he told me that I was like a son to him, even though I represented the very people that destroyed his world. And the whole region, over the years, I preached in several churches across that region, and most of those churches, with the exception of one or two, had been damaged in the war. But yet everybody treated me and welcomed me with open arms. Now, after my talk with Tata Johannes, I went to my grass hut that night and I sat before God and I forgave those people that had harmed me in the military. And something lifted. I can honestly say today I do not have a drop of bitterness or hatred in me at all. It's gone. Now I know that this goes completely against the narrative of the world today. So especially our politicians where I live and across the world love to keep the anger alive and the bitterness alive so they can get more and more votes in the elections. But I want to read Ephesians chapter 4 in the Bible, New Testament. Verse 26 says, in your anger do not sin. Do not let the sun go down while you are still angry. Do not give the devil a foothold. And then it goes on in verse 29, do not let unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up. And then in verse 31, it says, get rid of all bitterness, rage and anger, and brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. If we want to fix our society today, we have to start with ourselves. We have to go into our rooms and we have to forgive everyone that has harmed us. I am convinced that forgiveness is a spiritual exercise. If we forgive people who've harmed us, then what God does is He removes the anger, He removes the hurt, He removes the bitterness. Myself and many others are living proof of this. So, for this week, I want you please to go into your room, make a list of everybody that has harmed you, and then before God, forgive them. You might not ever, you don't have to meet them. You might not ever see them. I never met those people that harmed me almost 30 years ago. It's between you and God. So to recap, we need to acknowledge the pain. Then we need to forgive those that hurt us. And thirdly, we need to allow God to do the healing bit. Next week, we're going to look at how to begin fixing up our society. Thanks for watching.